Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Nitish Kumar ji, Honorable Energy Minister, Shri B.P. Yadav, Member of Parliament, Shri N.K. Singh, my colleague, Shri Panjia, and the distinguished panelists on the dais, and the distinguished guests who are attending this conference. I'm very grateful to Mr. Panjia for inviting me. And only yesterday when I landed at the airport, I realized because I had come on Bharat Darshan that time in February. And it is really a long time. All these memories have come back to me. And Bini had told me that Honorable Chief Minister would be here and I should speak about the role of the regulators. I said that I should not let this opportunity go. And that's why it's really a special occasion for me. And obviously, given the time constraint, the usual practice is whatever is the draft speech, etc., which was given to me, it can be included. I will just touch upon the 2-3 points. One, as far as the Bihar is concerned, you can take solace from what can go wrong with power planning. Because I was Secretary Energy in 98 to 2000 in Maharashtra. And that's the time. I know Harry Dhaul from that. And we had this constant quarrel. He blamed the regulator for Enron mishap. In fact, Enron mishap was not because of regulator. Enron mishap is an example. When you just have no regulatory structure and you just go on signing MOUs. And those MOUs are totally favorable to one party. And that's what exactly happened to Enron. And that time I remember as secretary, Maharashtra was comfortable in power situation wise. And there were many MOUs floating around. It was with Reliance, with Ispat, and all those capacities. And just based on that, if they had come, Maharashtra would have been surplus. And in fact, that time Mr. Shahi was with the BSCS. And he also had a plant ready safari. But fact, reality is that after Enron, none of these plants came up. And in fact, also a very good example, what the government can do and cannot do. In fact, today in Mumbai's power supply is in a very precarious situation because both Tata and Reliance, they still have not been given land. But it is unbelievable. After 5-6 years, the land could not be given. In fact, really the most common situation is 2 departments of government allotted same piece of land for both the power plants. And this is something on record. And with the result, when I became regulator in 2003, after that, next 4 years, when I became chairman also, I was only dealing with power shortages, how to do load shedding. So instead of regulating electricity sector, I became a rationing inspector, and that's the kind of situation. So I think Bihar can take heart because even the Maharashtra can do such a wrong thing. So obviously, from 100 units per capita consumption, where the all India consumption is nearly now 700, 800, it's a long way. But there are also opportunities when you are leapfrogging. Now, as far as the regulator is concerned, what the regulator does is gives certainty. And that's what my colleague Mr. Panjia has done. Now, recently, he must be very unpopular because he has increased tariff. But in fact, unless you increase tariff, who is going to sign your case 1, case 2 documents? Because those are based on the bidding. And in fact, that shows that once the distribution company is going to be financially viable, is going to pay. Because today, one of the criticisms the regulators are taking, that there is a huge 80,000 crore plus shortfall, or whatever you call with all the distribution company. And how is the private sector going to supply power in future? So that is the one very important issue. And that's why setting the tariff, in fact, 98 Act of the Regulatory Commission was focused only on this, that let's take the tariff determination process outside political purview and let an independent techno-economic body do that. And that is really the role of the regulator at the first step. But after that, the 2003 law, with which Mr. N.K. Singh was also involved, there were a number of things have been introduced. And what we are looking at is competition and choice and a market creation. And in fact, what I found that when I came in 2008 to Central Commission, that given the problems we face in the states, that if you were to set up a power station and you want to supply across the states, there are many state regulatory impediments, but more than that, also the mental approach of the utilities, state utility boards, which might have been unbundled, but they are actually unbundled only on piece of paper. When it comes to functioning, they still function as the old monopoly. And that's why this issue about the state load dispatch center independence and how they should allow the flow of power. So in fact, we had to come with new connectivity regulation. So we have allowed that any 100 megawatt consumer has choice, he can connect to the national grid. Now this is something which is unheard of, but we have to do that. Similarly for renewable energy, we have said that any 50 megawatt and above, so even with a cluster of projects, they can be connected to the national grid. And that is just because to avoid this difficulty. This is just an example. So I don't want to go into all those details because all these can be dealt with. Also the issue of cross-subsidy surcharge, what happens to the standby. Now, fortunately today in India we have a nearly 10% electricity being sold in what we call as a short-term market, which is less than 1 year's contract. All other maybe in the long term. That itself is a market. We have 2 power exchanges, we have nearly 40 traders, and that itself is developing. So that gives a real comfort. So if today any private sector invests, it gives a great comfort that he will be able to sell this electricity if the distribution companies who have signed the contract are not able to buy that or do not honor it. So this itself is a great achievement. Also, other roles the regulator has to play is promoting renewable energy. And that's why the Bihar becomes very interesting. Because when I read about this biomass gasifier, this small 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt, in fact, what has happened with the Rajiv Gandhi Gramin Vidyutikaran Yojana is something which is not really delivering what it is aims at. The whole thinking has been that, well, if we provide a basic minimum network, and so the villagers will be able to get 1 light bulb or 2 light bulbs. That's not the approach. In fact, very interesting thing, the problem has come, the way we have been setting the tariff. Because in Bihar, we find that when these gasifiers have been set up, the entrepreneurs, people are willing to pay almost 8 to 10 rupees per unit. And they get electricity only for 5 to 6 hours. But because that electricity is reliable, otherwise you may have a network, but there is no flow of electricity. And that's what happens in many cases. So given that, I think the real opportunity as I see in Bihar, and I'm really glad that Mr. Deepak Gupta is taking a lot of interest and MNR is following it up. Why cannot we develop a new model? And an important issue is whether we should involve the distribution company in this or not. Now, the distribution company could be involved to the extent that there is a renewable purchase obligation and all the distribution companies, they have to buy certain percentage of green power which the regulator says. So in that case, if anybody were to set up such kind of system, whatever is the electricity which is paid, it is a green energy and that credit can be given. So that itself becomes an incentive for the utility. So I just thought I'll give you these few ideas and I will not go into details, and again I am very thankful that I have been given this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr.